I don't know if you've ever been on the show before, but we'll do the intro, introduce you. Oh, you've been on.
A time or two.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to VR Verdict Podcast, episode 143, our weekly podcast where we talk about everything VR and sometimes things that aren't. I'm PJ.
I might be Wookiee. You don't know. You don't know.
So we released a little video and a little audio clip. We're not going to have guests through February. We're working on retooling things. I figured we could go through some of our plans, not all of them, but start there and then talk about some shit we played, I guess.
What?
So we're going to keep things short because we're moving platforms. So we're going to be adding functionality. We have some fun things dreamed up. We'll see if we get to them. Hopefully we'll get to some of them, if not all of them. Grabbable objects, avatars, nameplates, be a lot of fun. A guest space, perhaps.
Yeah, basically, once we get a better foundation, that'll just open up for the ability to add in a lot of funny things real quick. So,
yeah.
It'll be fun.
Looking to do some fun things with community and stuff like that. And we don't want to say too much because we don't know how long it'll take, but all good stuff. It'll all be fun. Yes.
Under promise, over.
So yeah.
But it'll
so
be
other
cool.
than that.
Trying to clap hands without banging my controllers.
Yeah, that's not easy. Other than that, we've been playing a lot of Zero Caliber. We played some Orbital Strike that just launched this week.
Mhm.
Had some fun with that. That's what Wookiee and I have played together, so I guess we can talk some about that. Zero Caliber has been fun. They released the Quest version months ago. PC version was kind of dormant, but they came out and released a huge update, got it caught up to the Quest version, which is kind of backwards in my mind, but they're adding modding and all kinds of stuff. We've been playing with it a lot with our nephew and having fun, so that's been going well. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun.
My favorite difference between the two is in the PC version, you can build loadouts and stuff like that, and earn and customize. Sorry, cats. Earn and customize stuff and do a loadout. But we were saying the coolest thing was if you would have, like talking to the devs, we both had the same idea. We need to build with the riot shield.
Yes.
But in the PC version, whatever you have on you, you could just go like, there's 3 mannequins for your build, and you go like store whatever you have on you, and it puts it on that build. You push the button on, and if you end around and you still have your riot shield, it works. You just pop it on there, and you have a build with a riot shield. I was like, well, shit, it's already there.
Kind of, yeah.
Looking forward, kind of, but as good as I need it. Don't break it. Don't touch it. Looking forward to trying out different handguns, because in the Quest version, I have to go look at the build there. I was using the Desert Eagle with stuff, and it's basically sniping everybody in the face.
Yeah.
I couldn't hit shit with the Desert Eagle or the Glock and the PC one. So it's a little more realistic, probably a little less helpery. So just, you gotta focus on the front sight, but it's different. Yeah, it's been fun. My only gripe is I usually just play with virtual desktop. Not a gripe about that game at all, but I usually play with virtual desktop streaming to the good old Quest 1. And Steam VR hijacks the menu button, which seems to get away a lot of stuff that everything uses the menu button on your left controller. I've been able to get it to shut that off, but it still renders the menu button unusable. So there's something somewhere that I can turn that off and still get to my menu button. Then to be perfect. But
yeah, I should really play on my Quest 2 connected to the PC more. I played with it in the initial starting days, and I haven't touched it, but yeah, help kind of smooth and figure out some of that crap. Maybe I should just try it.
Well, those are those goofy differences. Like when we started the podcast, it was we were just like it was a hell of a time for us figuring out how to get shit set up. Like I had to revamp my whole computer.
You'd have to like do USB math, like what bus is that port on? Wookiee's chasing the cat. For those watching the video, that's why he's moving around. But yeah, you had to do like USB math and figure out ports and all that stuff. So
my PCs are the two I've built. I mean, I only have ever built mine. I finally just bought a gaming laptop. Otherwise, it's all been, self-built PCs, no big deal. But I use shuttle PCs, and their cases are real small. And there's only one USB bus. So to use the old Rift, you could have two sensors on one USB 3 bus, but then you needed to have the third sensor on a USB 2 bus that was a separate channel, completely separate from the USB 3 bus. Which 2 and 3 would make sense, but it's like it can't touch it. So I had to buy like a wire, I had like a dormant port. I had to wake that up in the BIOS and I have like a dual dongle cord hanging out of my PC where that used to plug in. And it was just a hell of a time trying to get all that shit to work. But we were like, how is anybody who wants just this shit to work off the shelf to figure it out? So we were just starting to, share some of that information. And then that's why we started the podcast mainly. Just had some reviews on stuff and then helpful tips. And now it's a little easier to use this stuff. But still, like my biggest enemy is audio, like Windows audio. You're using speakers, you use a headset, like a gaming headset. You start streaming with Steam VR or something else, and new audio inputs, outputs, things turn on automatically, don't shut off, and it just goes nuts. So I still don't understand that fully. It's kind of like luck every time I get it to work. So yeah, Robin Mulder from don't tell me. 3 Pound Games. I remember.
Yes. Nice.
If you had a tip, like there's this like hotkey switchable, Windows audio input on Twitter. I'm like, that may be the most useful post on Twitter I've seen in a while because I can actually use that. Need to try that out. But yeah, anyway, Kink's working about that. I would like to figure that out and post little things like, hey, if you have trouble with this, try that. If anybody already knows how to get that Steam crap to stop, like I'd still like to get to the Steam settings, but I'd also still like to get to the in-game settings more often.
I'll look it up because I did do that a long time ago because it was the same thing, but that was like 2 years ago. I don't remember what I vaguely remember where it was. I'll look at it.
I mean, no harm, no foul against like Steam itself, but like the virtual desktop app, you can like tap the menu button 3 times and then that opens the virtual desktop app where you hold it down.
Yeah.
Steam. I think you got a couple more dollars in the dev bank than the VR desktop guys are doing great. But just you not see that? It's like you're only focused on one type of controller and just Steam VR games? I don't think so. Come on. Yeah.
It is weird that the whole VR thing, because like there's Steam VR, and it's been pretty much, they've made updates obviously, but it's been unchanged since the start. Like the whole app and everything. Like that's kind of weird. Where like, whether you whatever you think of Meta and all that stuff, going through their headsets and all the iterations and Vive and a couple of the other companies coming out now, but Steam's like the biggest platform and it's still like 4 years old and it's kind of old.
I mean, some of it's magic that they get it to work with different layers of things here, but it's hard.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, like it's open VR and you can use any headset and that's awesome because Meta's not like that. But it's just like, at least do some stuff.
but end users and customers are entitled to picky assets sometimes because sometimes I boot in and I'm like Steam Home and I love the old Oculus Rift Home, but Steam Home is like neat to go in like there's the bag end one and some other ones, and then sometimes I just want to get in and play it. Any hindrance to that when I'm running a little late or have an audio problem, I don't want Steam Home to starting, and I'm just like, give me the game, damn it. Still this.
Yeah. There is nothing worse, especially like with the quests when they came out. Like if you're sitting there waiting for, we all have those friends that are always late, or like you're just working through crap, and by the time it's finally working, your battery's about to die. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But if you have like an hour to play and you've had a long day, there's nothing worse than like updates or just issues, and it's just it gets to be a lot.
That was my biggest thing with the Rift.
And
I
that
can never,
happens with
I can never get the sensors quite right. So I turn front facing my usual stance. If I turned this way, my hands would freak out for half a second. He'd fucking murder me and Pavlov like he knew it was happening somehow. Just every time, blap. It just worked out that way. It was so frustrating. Still fun, but definitely learned to turn left more than right.
I have a question, and you won't know the answer because I don't, but and maybe it's not, maybe it's already fixed, but I noticed PSVR 2 comes out in a couple weeks, and I noticed Pavlov is a launch title, and it's like, we love Pavlov. Like that was one of the first VR games we played. We had like, I have videos of us just fucking laughing our asses off. But what happened to the Quest version? Like they got it so far, and then they went back to PC and didn't touch it, to my knowledge. And now you can kind of play with friends, but it's like a pain in the ass. But now we're going to PSVR 2. Like, what happened?
Small development pipeline. You gotta make the hard choices, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm just glad they got the Quest version out of the beta, because you could go in and you could edit like a text file to change your username, and you could kind of get in that way, but it was all halfway sideloaded. I'm just glad you can just boot it up and kind of play. Thankfully, they got it that far.
Yeah.
Still fun, but nothing is going to be the moddable version on PC. I don't know on the PC, PSVR 2, but putting in, GoldenEye maps. Like my one solace for GoldenEye coming out on Xbox Game Pass and not having network multiplayer. Pavlov can save the day there. That still even works. Used to work.
Yeah, it's still there. I checked it out. But yeah,
good time. I like Zero Caliber. A lot of flexibility with the guns. A lot of fun to be had on both the Quest and PC. I haven't tried really the PvP.
Oh, yeah.
We played a couple times on the PC, but I haven't tried the PvP there.
Well,
was kind of a hoot.
It's not out on the PC version yet. That's in their next big update.
Well, there you go.
But co-op is a lot of fun.
Quite a few more enemies.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy on PC versus the Quest.
Yeah, a little harder to use the scope.
I just saw that.
Up. A little wobbly.
Yeah. I just saw that Onward is dropping support for Quest 1 soon, which we haven't played with Logger yet. It's a game we haven't got to, so now it's kind of too late. Unless, I guess you guys can play it off the PC to your headsets. So
didn't I spend $25 on that title? And there are,
I don't know, did you?
Well, I bought it. I don't remember how much it cost. It's like, damn it. I mean, you got to cut the old versions off, but it's like, I'm still so much I get it from the dev side, but I'm still so much like, I got shit that works fine. I don't need to be, I could buy the Quest Pro. I could buy a whole bunch of Quest Pros, but it's kind of, my Quest 1 still works completely fine, except for the games that might not support it anymore. I have a hard time. Eat them either all or nothing. I'm like going to give me an HTC Vive and all these and the Pico. Like I keep seeing people on Twitter buy them all, buy a $8,000 gaming PC. Why not? Like, Wookiee only needs this much. Or you go crazy because I still can't afford time to play The Witcher 3. Not the HD remake, but The Witcher 3 DLCs. Fuck. Damn. Which I own on PlayStation.
Because you're always in the goddamn bathroom
and PC. I gotta keep it washed. Mhm. No, I bought like the DLC for the PS4 or whatever because it had the deck of cards, and I've got the special edition for the Xbox with the statue that's still in the box because it had the deck of cards. Um, Actually, that one I didn't know had the deck of cards, but I have it. I have the DLCs in the game on like all the platforms, but it's kind of like,
Yeah.
why don't you play them? But I have more fun buying them than actually making time.
Yeah.
It's weird. Fucking yeah, Zero Caliber, love it. Love the fact that I was kind of surprised that maybe it's just a holdover from how the game was, before they started working on it after updating the quest. But anything you have on you, like I said, with the riot shield, you can bring into the armory and add it to your loadout. So my favorite gun, Vector. Other favorite gun, tied for number one, G36C. I've got them all decked out with shit we found on the street. And then that 50 cal sniper, the Barrett 50 cal thing. I don't need to buy any guns.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there goes my
Yeah.
progression. Neat. Now I have everything. So it's funny.
And we've kind of like talked about that over the years. Like, I just love a game like whether you kill them or knock them out, take anything they have on them and just you have it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like most games that let you do that, they have that breakable thing. So like you can use it for 5 minutes and then it's gone. And it's like, no, let me keep what I kill. Those are the rules.
Mm-hmm. Like the fucking
So that's kind of Zero Caliber kind of lets you do that.
Yeah. I do like how they unlock like the different skins and things. So there's still progression stuff in that one, like the extended mag kind of stuff. You still have to unlock that. But
Yeah.
unless you find one randomly, I didn't find like the drum magazine for the Vector. I had to buy that. But, so a good mix of keeping your stuff in progression because there's nothing more fun than in the quest version you can find guns and cases and you can unlock that special version of that gun by finding it. There's not as much seemingly in PC version, so we're checking the same spots. There's nothing there, but finding something like keeps you going back in. You don't know what you're gonna find. But just keeping all the stuff. I'm glad there's still progression. What I'm getting at, a reason to keep going in.
Yeah.
Now I just wish if you had a bipod on the gun. I gotta give them that tip. The bipod, when you grip it, it grips like the bipod when you're like holding it. Like instead of just gripping the barrel or using even a C-clamp grip. Sorry. There's a bipod on the front of your gun for stability. If you put one on there, your hand actually grabs the bottom of the bipod, and it just looks weird. It looks like I can't shoot it. It bugs the crap out of me. But it works fine. Just goofy. Throwing axes, come on, it's a good game. But on normal, they're pretty tough. I wanted to use the shield and the throwing axe and just go all Viking on people. You can't really get close to them. They shoot you right through the eye hole of your shield or something. Or your feet. One of them got a kill shot that shows the kill shot laser beam and goes right into my feet. It's like, what game did we used to play where I kept calling you a foot-hitting son of a bitch?
This is one of the Call of Duties, I think, wasn't it?
Could have been Call of Duty. It could have even been Soul Calibur.
Oh, yeah, it was that. Because we do the low attack and tap your foot and kill you.
If you're like, technical. Not exciting, but it works. You foot-hitting son of a bitch. There's me trying to learn how to do Mackey's, stance-based combos. Foot hit. Fuck you. I'm artistry over here. Artistry incarnate, and you're foot hitting. Sorry. Rant. You and Keelik with the fucking bow staff.
Yep.
Remember that one? That's probably it. Hit me from like half a room away. You can't stop that.
It's like Indiana Jones and the, bringing a sword to a gunfight type of thing. You're over there just flowing and dead.
Yeah. I think I got it. I'm going to do something really cool. Yeah, might as well just throw that nightmare guy on me. But then Orbital Strike, surprisingly fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you should go.
Why do you say that?
Because,
just kidding.
not like the game. You boot in, and it's giving you all this words. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'll be honest. The intro had me lost. I'm like, am I in some crazy sci-fi novel? Because it just had all these words, very well voice acted. Couldn't follow what was going on. Still don't know. But then something,
Yeah.
like the next day, you're thinking about it. I'm like, it was kind of fun just zooming around and blowing stuff up in that game. Like it keeps you kind of interested. Again, don't know what the hell's going on, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Learning how to.
So yeah, you're like
wow.
I think we're robots, and you're flying through space as a humanoid, not like a ship or anything, but you're fighting ships, and there's a little
Space
what would
mining.
you call it? There's space mining, but RTS management of ships you can call in if you have resources for mining. Really neat, like very original, very cool idea. But like what you said, the intro voice acting was great, but it was like too much at once, and you're like, I'd only caught a quarter of that. And we were let the dev know that, and he's like, yeah, I cleaned up some stuff, so I want to hop back in and check it out again. But really cool stuff, a lot of cool mechanics. There's a few things that you kind of have to try to figure out, and we did, but we were using the wrong piece of equipment, so that was kind of funny.
Communication. I was like, one of us take the inside, one of us take I have the weapon choice, and I think we both took the inside.
Yeah. Well, one of the cool things I like, so if you're near each other, you're talking normal, but you get like 10, 20 feet away, and you're like over a comms, like a robotic voice, and it just sounds really good. To the point when we get near each other again, because you're flying through space, like it's huge. It'd be like really weird because you're like, oh crap, that's right, your voice is normal now.
I didn't even notice that.
Neat.
On the ship, you're normal, and then as soon as I would take out, like jump out of the thing and leave the ship, then I would turn. You'd hear the radio static. I love that audio layer stuff where they do that. Echoes like, "All right, I'm hungry." When there's processing, that is fun. Added a little element of you're really there to it, but it's got a good system for like throwing things. You can actually throw things and feel like you're going to hit something with it. Some of it auto tracks and targets, but usually throwing stuff is like you let go of a button, and depending on when you throw the grenade or something like that, this one you hold the button outside of like the weapon choice ring, and you're in like throw mode or something like that. And then it's like anything you do is going to throw it, and it worked really well. We were throwing guns back and forth, and it was actually giving us ammo. I think. Don't know if that's a bug or a feature, but if you throw a gun to somebody else, I'm out of ammo with the bazooka. I throw it at PJ, and he throws his heavy weapons in that slot, flies out of his hand. I grab it. I've got 40 more bullets or something. Like infinite ammo.
That's a cool co-op moment. So
yeah, command and ship. It's calling those in, telling them to blow stuff up.
Yeah, you can call in ships. We didn't even scratch the surface. There's a whole list of stuff there. But you can play co-op 1 to 4 people. You can play solo. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to hop back in and try it. Like you said, I was thinking about it all the next day. Like, okay, if we did this, that would have worked. Or it's cool when that happens because it doesn't happen as much as it used to in the past.
Yeah, some thought went into like the feel and the gameplay of that kind of thing. So yeah, that is a surprise. And it's like the next day you felt like you bought an N64 game and you're still thinking about it. A nice treat.
Yeah.
Highest compliment.
Going back to riot shields though, that's something I want in VR. I want a game, and we've talked about this where whether you somehow you connect the 2 players, and the guy in the front has the riot shield and the guy in the back has the gun, and using him as cover and moving through hallways and shit, like that'd be fun. Because like in VR, that riot shield, when there's 10 people shooting at you, it feels crazy. It's awesome.
It's nuts. To the point where I kind of want to have 2 riot shields to see if I could cover you guys, and then you shoot over something, but then I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
And there's no like attachment spot for the riot shield, so please update that. Don't change it so I can't use the riot shield. Like, oh, we fixed the bug. But like you can't put it away. Like if you have to reload your gun, you got to drop it for a second, put it in. Like handguns, there's like an easy way to reload as long as you don't run out. But I did figure out with the the Dirty Harry gun, you can run out because you don't have to pull the chamber back. You just flip the whatever it's called. Maybe that's called the chamber on the revolver, and then you get your bullets. Otherwise, you got to drop it. Hope you do it because it disappears real quick. I think you drop stuff. But yeah, riot shields are fun. Even like Destiny or not Destiny, Division 1 riot shield couldn't use your main weapon.
Yeah.
Still fun to get. Division 2, you could use a full-on main weapon. I'll never have a build that doesn't have that on it. It's too much fun.
Yeah.
What is it about shield? Is there
Yeah.
something special? Like, Warcraft?
I
one of
think
these
it's
things,
just
I wanna
it's
wear
a
shield.
different. Yeah, I don't know, but for these games, I think it's just a different. You're so used to shooting and gunning and all that.
Mhm.
It's just different. I think maybe.
Changes up the strategy, gives you
But
something different to do.
there is something in shields in general, because in VR, my favorite thing is like sword and board, like even in Skyrim, whether you have it modded to be like full VR or not. It's just awesome, like physically blocking and using a melee weapon in VR. It's just like that's one of my favorite things ever. So that and holding a torch up and having it light shit in VR.
Did you say sword and board?
Yeah.
Check.
Sorry.
It's fine. It just sounds like a bed and breakfast.
Some people say that and it's like, shut up. Yeah.
Last person I heard that said that, they're like, "Oh yeah, you did use some sword and board," and I remember like my smile just going like, "Rrrr." I'm like, I don't think I'm playing with that one.
Yeah.
Probably I'm playing with that person. I miss him. You should probably ping him. Anyway, what else you got? So Orbital Strike, Zero Caliber PC, both fun. Would play again.
I was just talking about stuff we've played. So, other than that, like I've played a lot. I play many
Everything.
more titles than you do. We've talked about this, but
You got to keep bringing it up.
yeah,
Like we should play.
no. I'm just
Keep shaming me.
we're just not a podcast that like keeps up on like I know when certain games are coming out because I playtest a lot of shit I can't talk about, and I don't like being that person like, oh, I played a game I can't talk about. Like I don't like that. But yeah, like headsets and like technology, yeah, it's awesome, but I'm very much more into games than the actual hardware. So I know other people aren't, and God bless them, and they have their chats about that, but I don't really care. It's all cool, but it's this here. Let's talk about this because this kind of struck me as funny. Where uh, Oculus, Facebook, whatever, now Meta, we're on what 5 headsets now, and every headset that's come out, like normally in the video game world, new system releases, there's at least 5 to 15 launch games. Well, the Quest 2, I mean, there were games launching when the Quest 2 came out, but nothing like, sure, there was a couple, but nothing major. And then the Quest Pro came out, and like there's like nothing big happened, and it's just kind of strange when you think about it. To me, anyway.
Well, it's the same with the consoles.
It's like
now.
why?
Like
Let's.
the Xbox Series X launch. I
Well,
don't remember the big ticket games.
there were a
coming out.
couple. There was at
Shit.
least like 5, but yeah.
Microsoft
It's
Flight
just
Simulator
strange.
would
It
probably
kind of
play
like
it in the old Xbox. That's all I know.
it would kill it.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's like the only one that was like using the hardware that I know that was like a big launch title for that new
Yeah.
console for the VR. Yeah, it is weird. You need to develop games, but Meta's more a hardware maker than they are the games publisher, aren't they? They're buying stuff to make games.
They have a lot of studios, and they've made, like, if you want to, like, air quotes, the biggest games. And it's been a while, which I mean,
Maybe
it's
that's
fine, but
not
Just
coming
kind
to
of
my
weird.
forefront. Yeah, I mean, that's the gaming thing as a whole. It's sad that you don't new console and be like, oh shit. I mean, you'll never get the same experience of the new Xbox with the Halo coming out with it. It's
Yeah.
gone. So I don't know if that's even a thing in the gaming universe anymore. Big hardware launches coming with stuff.
Yeah. It's just funny because like indie devs, non-meta devs are carrying the platform, but meta for the most part, like, and we hear mixed stories, so take all this with a grain of salt, but between App Lab and all that stuff, like they treat devs not great a lot of the time. So it's like they're carrying your platform, like fucking help them out, be nice about it. Like what the fuck?
I've heard good
You're
stories.
gonna bury your game in App Lab and you can't find it, but thanks for being here. Like, just the whole thing is so bizarre.
Yeah,
And I'm not a dev. I'm not trying to release anything, so I don't know. I'm only going by what I hear from all the devs we talk to, where it's not awesome all the time.
it does seem like some devs get through the App Lab and onto the App Store easier than others, and I don't really understand.
Oh yeah,
I mean, sometimes you know why, but sometimes you just feel like games is just as polished as some of the others when you're screwed.
the dumbest thing I've heard is, "Hey, we already have this amount of that type of game. We're good." It's like, fuck off. Let me release my game. Weird. Anyway, I normally stay out of politics and talk about fun stuff, but that just popped in my head. Yeah.
And there's me if I sometimes too black or white. Like if I go all in with the hardware, I could go all in with those topics, and that would just be like 100% what I do. But I like to trim it back, and I still have my old Quest One because I don't want to poke that bear. I just want to enjoy the experience. Yeah. So without shelling out $1,000 every quarter or every 3 quarters, again, I could. I don't want to. I just like to hedge my bets on the longevity. So consoles come out and they go away. The PC versions of those games are usually playable. That's like backwards compatibility. I just buy it on Steam or Epic or wherever, because you'll always be able to play that. So I'm like, well, do the same thing with VR. Just if I have the same game, and especially if I can cross-play with other people, then I'm going to buy the Steam version because no matter what headset I use, I don't have to go spend $1,400 or whatever the Quest Pro just came down to. Not that I won't love new hardware when I get it. I am completely ecstatic about it, but I know the rabbit hole Wookiee would get down into. Would have 4 headsets and not use any of them as much as you should. So.
Yeah. That was kind of my point, I guess. Like with buying the Quest Pro and spending that much, it's like, what else do I get? I get these cool things, and like it does push VR ahead, but for that price, I should have a couple games to play.
Well,
like
I love
something new, but
pushing more polygons, but there's still something about squeezing. Not that you have to be like, I have to know the Quest or the PS2 or whatever so hard that I know exactly how to do it, but like some of the lower poly, well textured, people focusing on the right part of the silhouette of a 3D model instead of just shoving garbage at it. There's still way more charm to that. So like I would, not that to knock any current devs, but I would, jump into a VR version of an N64 game and probably be more blown away because of the time, crafting it to fit the medium better than just saying, oh, let me, just rush a game out because, why not? Somebody's going to buy it. But I like being seeing the creative, constraint, keeping like, what can you make simply in a game that doesn't need to have crazy graphics? Because the more crazy graphics you throw at stuff, unless you have a defined art style, I'm not gonna like it. like bang out. Like everything looks like it fits together for me. But I like to see the people that can squeeze that out, like Garage Games with the Shock Troops and the one that Cyril's working on. Can't remember the name of the new game, but the medieval romp. Holy shit!
Yeah.
He's so humble he won't take a compliment. That I don't know if my compliments are weird. He's like, nah, everything's fine. It's like it looks so tight of a theme of an art style, or it's just hard
Yeah.
to do that. He said, he's only a single artist, and it's easier to manage the pipeline when you're one person versus managing 40. I that, but it's still like fucking rad. You can't say otherwise. But
Yeah, those like that landscape, just the pictures you shared, like that's something I'll legit I would put my headset on and just lay in bed and just hang out in that space by myself, not doing anything, because
if
that's
they had
how gorgeous it looks.
instead of a fast travel, if there's like a wagon tour of those areas, I'd just be like,
Yeah.
chill out, just chill out and watch it all go by.
Yep. Yeah.
My cat's crying. Let me know if you can hear him.
No, it's fine. Probably get wrapping up here because we don't know. We're supposed to have an hour, but it seems like it gets cut off before that. So it's been like
43
35 minutes.
Yeah. So say our goodbyes now and then the rest of the after show, but I do have to wrap up timely in the next few minutes anyway. So
yeah,
random stuff.
So yeah, through February, hang out with us. We'll just be having little chats about whatever happened that week until we get our new platform up and running. We do have possibly a partnership coming up. We can't really say much about, but that's exciting. Alt Space closing kind of put a damper on that, so we were hoping that would kind of get us through this part, but it didn't. But we'll make it work. So a lot of cool stuff. Just takes time. So
Takes time. Got day jobs. Sorry.
It's gonna be fun. We'll have a lot of fun after we get back to our stuff.
Indubitably.
You could be sitting right here. Think about that.
Do you want to? You want to sit here?
You like this?
You got a better party than this? Nobody's gonna understand that reference. If you do, kudos. You're cool, and you can be our friend. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. I gotta go.
See you guys.
Enjoy yourself.